us, ahead of us, and it's elevated above us. But thank God, we can always see it, identify it, and know it when our eyes are open and we are looking. And when they heard the king, they departed, and behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, their eyes were opened. They rejoiced with, I love the New King James, with exceedingly great joy. In John 9:39, and I want to paraphrase this, Jesus had healed a man who was born blind. And this is a miracle that's never recorded in the Old Testament. The one miracle that Jesus did that we find nowhere else till Jesus comes on the scene is healing the blind, opening their eyes. And people were amazed. And this man had a confrontation with the religious leaders, and he began to tell them his testimony of how his eyes were open, he could see. And then he began to, like as it were, preach to them, and they said, the religious leaders, how dare you? You're from the other side of the tracks. You were born in sin. You're going to preach to us? Get out of here. They kicked them out. As a matter of fact, I'll take you over there real quick about eyes being open, and we'll go back to Matthew 2. But in John chapter 9, verses 35 through 41, picking up on this story, John 9, 35 through 41, when Jesus heard that they had cast him out, the man whom had been born blind, he healed him. When he had found him, he said to him, do you believe in the Son of God? He answered and said, see, Jesus has sent the man away. Just to backtrack here. Jesus took some clay, he spit into the clay, and he took the saliva and the dirt and made clay. He put the clay on the man's eyes. The man still didn't see him. And he said, go and wash in the pool of Siloam. He did, and he could see. It was incredible. So remember, at this point, though he had been healed, he still had not seen Jesus yet. People forget that. He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I may believe in him? Jesus said to him, you have both seen him, and it is he who is talking with you. Then he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshiped him. And Jesus said, for judgment I have come into this world, that those who do not see may see, and those who see may be made blind. What he meant by that is, there are those who think they see, the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Jewish religious leaders. They think they can see. They're really blind. But there are those, and they can't spiritually see now, but they're going to believe in me and receive me, and they will see. Have you noticed, those of you who are believers, when you received Christ, how he did open your eyes spiritually? And you begin to see people and situations and circumstances and scenarios from a totally different perspective? While people can look around and see people that irritate them, provoke them, and are a nuisance, you look around and you see people who are lost, who are wounded, who are bleeding, who are dying, who are traumatized, and who need help, because you've been given the eyes of Christ to see by the power of the Holy Spirit. God, open my eyes. God, open our eyes at this Christmas season. And then secondly, they open their hearts. They open their hearts. And I go back now to verse 10 and following, and I want to break this down very carefully. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. You don't see the word they opened their hearts, but it is obviously implied there. And when they had come into the house, see, they're not in a manger. Jesus was no longer in a feeding trough for animals, but they were in a house, and he's not called the babe, but he's called a young child. They saw the young child with Mary, his mother. Now, please note this. And fell down and worshiped him. They fell down and they worshiped him. The phrase there, fell down, means to fall violently. Now note that. To fall violently and to be broken and to be shaken. These were people of aristocratic nobility, of wealth and power and authority. And here is a very, very young child, under 2 years of age. And when they walk in, they don't just, oh, hey, yo, yeah, it's Jesus. Wow, it's been a long journey, but it's been worth it. Here, we've got something we want to give you. No, the Greek is, when they came into the presence of God, they were so overwhelmed that they fell violently, and to be broken and to be shaken to the very core. That's what happens when we come into the presence of the holy God. There is something that is shaken, that is broken, that is disturbed and rearranged in our lives.